Hello, everybody. So welcome to the third week or second official week of the podcast. So this is Fun Time Sunday. We're going to be doing a little introduction to our new host and a discussion about a piece that I'll mention later on. So, as you know, I'm Gavin Ray. Mitchell sadly can't join us today since he's working. But I'm going to hand it off to introduce our new co-host, Jaylen Bray. Go on ahead, Jaylen.
Hi, I'm Jaylen. I'm a senior at Blue Springs South High School. I've been in percussion basically my whole life. I've been playing marimba the past 3 years, and I've been center marimba for the past 2 in section 3. Here's Isaac.
Hi, I'm Isaac. I'm a junior at Tarpon Springs High School, but I'm a senior in the Leadership Conservatory. I grew up in the marching arts. Both my parents were techs at a school near Countryside, or near Tarpon. They worked at Countryside and Chamberlain and a couple other schools. I'm flute section leader this past year and quartermaster, and I play flute. I know a little bit of percussion, and I'm looking to be a conductor in the future. And now here is Owen.
Hi, I'm Owen. I'm from Northern Virginia. I've been doing percussion for ever since 6th grade, but recently I picked the brass. I have a spot in Raiders Drum and Bugle Corps on baritone, and I'm looking to continue that all the way up to world-class GCI as well. Here's back to Gavin.
Okay, so those are our new hosts. So Isaac and Owen won't always be here. They're technically called semi-hosts. That's a weird name. I've never heard that, but that's what they are. So we're going to start, as we always do, without Mitchell this time. Very sad. So before we start, always remember the Musicians List Arts auditions will be on the Instagram page. Just go follow at Musicians List Arts to get the audition information. They're updating more information as the weeks go on due to the virus, so he's going to try to get more pieces out to everybody as soon as he can get the audition stuff solid. So we have a special composer. He's composing a piece for the specific ensemble that will be debuted online. So we're sort of waiting on him to finish his piece before the stuff is sent out. So without further ado, it's a very short podcast. This is always going to be short, like Saturday and Wednesdays. So the piece we will be analyzing today is Maslanka Symphony No. 4. Isaac and I had the chance to play this piece this last year, and the specific timestamp we are going to be analyzing is 2 minutes and 33 seconds to 6 minutes and 21 seconds of the Northwestern version of it, and the social media manager will probably link the video in the description. So without further ado, we're going to split into separate calls, and you'll hear tapes that will go Gavin, not Mitchell, then to Jaylen, Isaac, then Owen, then we'll come back and discuss it, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. So I'm Gavin. Oh, we started a little early, but here we go. So time segment 2:33 to 6:21 of Maslanka Symphony No. 4, and the segment starts right now. I got the opportunity to play this piece this last year in the Tarpon Wind Ensemble on French horn, and it's a very great piece. It's a 28-minute symphony. It's a very entertaining and fun piece to play, and we'll talk more about the theme later, but it's an overall great piece to play, and I love just the balance between the sections here, the da-da-da, 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 and it speeds up here, and it's really cool effect. Then we go into this little section that's all about like 3/4 bum, 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 bum. And then it's sort of building up to a climax. I've always loved listening to this section, one of my favorite sections. Then here comes the horns. Now percussion, here we go. The whole ensemble on these time changes is so powerful. Reminds me of Wine Darcy when we analyze that. This is my favorite symphonic ensemble that plays this piece, because it's just so well done in the tempos, or the tempos I would have loved to play them at, and I'm pretty sure we played it exactly to these tempos. Now here comes the solo section. It'll be a little quieter. Just love the motif they do. They have these motifs from all these church hymns throughout this whole entire piece that is very interesting. We'll talk about that more later with the rest of the hosts, but it's great. Just everything keeps going, like the tempo keeps going. No matter how soft the section is, it's being played fast, but it's being played beautifully, and this ensemble does a very good job of that. Now here we come building up again. They do such a good job with the style here. With the under motif, the under voices with the motif. Horns again. Love playing this part. I always played my heart out in this piece since I'm a very loud horn player, so I always play very loud and blends with the ensemble very well since Mr. Ford likes the brassy horn sound sometimes. Only like 3 of our horns could double tongue that section. There's a great. I love double tonguing it. I worked a lot on double tonguing that section, and then just the ensemble slowly dissipating and changing the tone of the piece. Love this like section. Dum dum. And that's what we'll call it. So that's the end there. So I've always loved playing this piece, and I'm really upset that we didn't get to further perform this piece throughout the year, because our final performance of it was in our MPAs, and we did a pretty good job with it. There was only some minor issues, but overall we did a really good job with it, and that's my comments on it. I'll talk more about what I have to say about it later with the other hosts. So since Mitchell's not here, I'll hand it off to Jaelyn.
Hi, this is Jaylen. I'm going to be listening to Symphony No. 4 performed by Northwestern University. I really like the connection between, I believe it's the flutes and the clarinets. I'm not a woodwind player, so I'm not for sure, but the connection between them is really perfect. It's great. In my experience with my band, this is really hard to get perfectly. The dynamic crease and fallout was great. Oh, that was amazing whenever they came in so strong. The dynamics on this are beautiful. Wow. The bass adds so much. The xylo cuts right over the top, so you're able to hear it, but not too loud. Yes, the timpani adds so much to this piece. Again, dynamics are great. They make it sound so delicate, but being still very strong. I love the harp in this piece. It really adds a different texture, especially when it connects in between the woodwinds. The piano as well really cuts right over it, but not too loud, and the little percussion parts adds so much dimension. I love the back and forth between the xylophone and the piano. This is such an interesting piece to listen to. It brings so many different parts. Oh, that buzz roll leading into it was amazing. Yes. Those high toms cut right through without being too loud. Nothing's too boomy whenever it comes to the drums. The drums are perfectly in time, which is very hard to do when it comes to pieces like this, going back and forth between different instruments. Wow. It's interesting they muted the cymbal there. Oh, the xylophone connecting to the higher woodwinds and flutes. It's amazing. Yeah, so that was the section we were supposed to listen to. Overall was so great. I loved listening to it. It's a very interesting piece. I'm going to listen to the rest.
Hey, this is Isaac back with the David Maslanka Symphony No. 4. This is my judge's tape. Again, like Gavin said, we'll be doing 2 minutes to 33 seconds to 6 minutes 21 seconds. Again, this is the Northwestern piece that they use. And here we go. I really like the lightness of this section, where it's kind of transparency from what we just heard. If you ever heard this piece, it's really big and impactful. Then you come in here, just a very light touch. Very nice. Very, very good balance of all the parts right here, especially in the woodwinds with the low woodwinds. With the low woodwinds and the high woodwinds. Very nice. So nice crescendo there, going into a different piece, different meter. And then that ostinato pattern gets passed around. Love the contrabass part there. Really, really amazing part. So all these meters are having a different change of meters, and it's with the flutes and the trumpets trying to lead this part. It's going into a 3-4 to 2-4 pattern. So that part of it, from playing this piece, David Maslanka really wants it to be accent and bell tones, but he wants his bell tones to really kind of come out of the sound, so it's ba, ba, and you have that really big, like, forte, and then it drops down, and it kind of, it tapers out. Very light feel to this trio. So this has harp and organ, clarinet, piccolo, flute. Absolutely love this part. What I found, it's incredibly hard to shape this with the people that you have. You really need to be exact with who you're playing with and how you're playing it. You really need to get together with those people, kind of talk about it. That's what I've noticed in my experience. It was a really, really kind of tough spot to really know what you're doing there. Northwestern does an amazing job at this, though. The trick to this part is making sure each part is balanced. So even the E-flat clarinet all the way down to the bass clarinet is trying to come down together. This section gets really loud, it gets really impactful. The bass drum is just hitting it as hard as he can, while the toms are going crazy. It's a really, really cool part. this eighth note pattern with the French horns coming in with this first melody that we heard earlier in the section. And again, with that part, you're hitting each of those, the eighth note, 16th notes, triplets, all of those. You're making them hit and then decay, hit, decay, and you're making that little shaping, that doing all that stuff, and it's really, really talented to do that. So yeah, so just to kind of recap what we just heard. So the beginning of this piece is really, really powerful, and then you switch into that really just light, we call it bubbly, and making it really bubbly and light, and a nice feel kind of getting across to the listeners. And then you come in with this kind of, this waltz type feel, and you know, triple, and comes out of that feel. Really, really absolutely love that part. And then you go into this really big, loud, impactful section while the 16 notes are coming across from the woodwinds, and the brass are having this really loud bell tones. And then you go into this really to this light section where the harp comes in, and then it really just feels really nice and calm. And then you just feels great. And then clarinet comes in, flute, and then you have alto flute in there a little bit, and then switch to piccolo, and then piccolo comes in, makes it really light feel. Then that little ending of the piccolo is really hard to get those crescendos and decrescendos in there to make it feel like it has movement and shaping in it. All right, that was kind of the recap of that, and thank you for listening. Let's see what Owen has to say after this.
I'm Owen Kensky. I will be recording and judging Symphony No. 4. Strong usage and communication between sections with the downbeats on the brass and the 16th notes on the winds. That really fits well. It's executed well. You can really feel the pulse of 3 there. The staccato upper voicing, contrasting the lower voicing with those low tones, really, really done well too. Everyone attacking the note together, attacking, sustaining, and releasing the note at the same time, all in unison. It gives the stronger moments a stronger feel. Good control of dynamics and control of your sound, even throughout the different dynamics, the lower volumes and the softer as well. Good decrescendo there on the da 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 da. Back into that slower, calmer. Very tasteful use of percussion on the rims. Just enough to show that it's there, but not enough to take away from the melody. Good dynamic control going down chromatically on those upward falls and the flutes. Good leading the crescendo there, saving most of the crescendo for last, giving it that bell shape. Very good job there. using the percussion to lead that crescendo as well too. That different voicing and that new texture. Tasteful tom work in the background. That's very nice. That bold brass in the background, very solid. Ooh. Very good control on that double tonguing, maybe triple tonguing there in the brass. It's a very good usage of dynamics there. Being able to go from that loud to the soft again, very good control. Being able to maintain good tones throughout all of that too. Yeah, that was a very good control of the sound throughout all of that. In the faster and the slower runs, and the long tones as well, you still have the accuracy on the attack, the sustain, and the release of the note. Everyone keeping that same mindset. And the sections being able to communicate the approach to the music. And being able to have that unison and have that shared idea between the sections. That all just aids in the accuracy and performance of the piece. I'm going to pass this back on to Gavin, and we'll wrap that up there.
Okay, so welcome back. So hope you guys enjoyed the little segment of Maslanka. So the first thing the CEO wants us to talk about is the story. And Isaac and I mainly know the story, and Owen looked it up, and Jaylen sort of couldn't find it, sadly. But Isaac, I'm going to let you hand it off for the story. You talk about some of the sections of the story, and I'll talk about some of the ones I noticed, like my favorite sections. You talk about yours.
So, I actually have my music here, for a fact. And I was privileged enough to play first flute and piccolo, so I had the opportunity to play the solos. The first thing is basically it's like an introduction. It's like a call to kind of like a fanfare. If you ever heard Cadets 2019, they used that like Behold. It's like the call. So that's kind of like the beginning, and it's really powerful. And the French horn just comes in and just kind of takes it all over. So then they kind of piece by piece add on the sections until 63, and that's when the first time the whole ensemble is really together. They do this huge like fanfare type thing, and it's really, really big and impactful. And then 84, everybody starts to kind of trickle out, and then 88, everybody starts to come back in, starts to kind of makes this like bubbly type feel is what we call it, with the clarinets, flutes, piccolo, bass clarinets, and then oboes. And it's kind of like a back and forth. So you go back and forth, do a bubbly type thing. It's really cool. And then David Maslanka kind of written all of this to be very free and very just kind of like all about the soul and just what you feel like you should do with the music and kind of let it take you. So that's what he's kind of going for there. So if you kind of skip a little bit forward, we're at about like 183. That's where the clarinet, the alto flute and piccolo, harp, all of them are in here. They're doing this trio section. Very kind of nice feel. Kind of introduces a new melody to us. And then right after that, it becomes this kind of huge power thing again. And the trumpets are start with this main melody. It's just a staccato quarter notes coming in. And then you're going through, and this is where the earth and nature starts to take over. And basically, this is where the earth starts to kind of pour out. Like, basically, that's what we call it. The earth is pouring out. So then we go through, and we go into this very nice, delicate section. And this is, like, nature, like, just taking its course. Like, this is where animals are just kind of being nice, and, being free. And then the doxology, David Maslanka uses a lot of Christian symbolism,
Mhm.
symbolics, and one of those being the doxology. And using the doxology, he implements it just by chord structures at first, and then he goes through when we get to the kind of free spiritual section. He uses it with the alto flute, and that alto flute is just doing a long note and then coming out, and then coming in with the next note, coming out, and it's just pieced together. And then you have in kind of interlude with piccolo trumpet and horn and bassoon and oboe, clarinet, E flat clarinet. They're doing kind of interlude type thing between the alto flute, and then the flute comes in, and this is the first time that doxology is played completely through. And it's this really powerful kind of symbolic thing right here, where the earth is really stating as like, I'm here, listen to me type stuff. And then after that, we go into this huge section where the doxology is played with the whole band, except for the woodwinds and the brass are separated into two parts, where the brass is playing it as quarter notes, but in like 8/4, even though it's not 8/4, it's really in 4/2. And then the woodwinds are playing the melody, but they're not playing it with the brass. They're playing it in a different 5/2 type thing. So at the end of this, there's another call between the piccolo trumpet and the trumpet, the flute, and the piccolo. So the piccolo comes back in when this huge part ends, and then the piccolo kind of calls for the trumpet and the flute to come in. And then the piccolo trumpet comes in and the flute, and then it settles again. And then after that,